Welcome to the Soulfire Podcast, where every day we talk about real life, real shit, real raw. On this show, you can expect us to dive deep into topics like marriage, parenting, money, business, feeling like you want to give up, fighting for yourself, just straight soul healing. This podcast is all about life. Hey there, it's Power Coach Alicia here, your source of fun, funny, exciting, entertaining, and educational life coaching, transformational speaking, and soul healing. We're talking about setting your soul on fire. I specialize in helping women put themselves first without feeling guilty, getting out of their own way, and finding themselves again. No fluff, no hand-holding, no bullshit here, just love, light, and peace as we journey through this thing called life. So I have a confession to make. In the last 4 months, I have operated in an entire opposite energy of who I am and what I need and how I show up in my world and in my life. I've been going through so much in the last 4 or 5 months. Oh my God, I can't talk. That I literally went into power saving mode. I shut down. I just went within and just complete fucking survival mode. I never do that. I am an outward human. I am an expressive human. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I need. This is how I'm hurting. This is what happened. I'm an outward human. I am the person that if you ask me how I'm doing, instead of being an automatic, I'm doing well, I'm doing great, I'm doing good, I'm the person that will tell you today has been fucking shit and I'm struggling greatly. But I am doing my best to make it through. That's my message or my words back to you. I am the person that says, how's your weekend going? Well, I've spent most of the weekend just crying and feeling like shit, but I'm doing my best to do some soul work and do some journaling, some meditating to work through it. I'm the person that tells the truth. But you want to know something that I've noticed is that when I tell the truth, most people don't pay attention to my words. So I'll tell what's true. And instead of them addressing what I said, a lot of times it's this like dismissiveness or this disregard of what I actually said. Because humans are so conditioned to hear or see, I'm good, I'm great, I'm well, that they don't even pay attention. Case in point, when you're at a funeral, people will hug each other and say, how are you? Why the fuck are we asking that? First question. Why the fuck are we asking that? How do you think they fucking are? That is not a quality question, and you actually don't give a fuck. You are asking that question on habit of when you walk up to somebody and you see them for the first time. That's what you say. At a funeral, you should say, oh, love, oh, whoever, I know this fucking sucks. And I know everyone's saying that they're here for you. And I know everyone is asking you what they can do for you or to let you know what you need from them. But I just want to say that I'm sending you so much love, light, strength, and peace. Wow. How the fuck would that go over compared to how are you? And the person who is grieving the most or the people who are grieving the most, they say, I'm good. What the fuck? Your husband just died. Your kid just died. Your boyfriend just died. Your mother just died. Your father just died. You respond with, I'm good? If there are two of us standing next to each other and the person next to me asks the person who is, feeling it more heavy, how are you doing? And they say good, I look at them and I always say, no, you're not. Why do I do that? Because it's a fucking lie. We're so automatic. We're so fucking stuck in automatic phrases and responses and energies that we don't even pay attention to what the fuck we're saying and doing. And I've asked this to multiple people. Why do people ask in a moment of turmoil and sadness and just pure, utter devastation to a soul, how are you doing? You know what response I've gotten most of the time? I don't know. It's just something that I say. I'm not even really thinking about it. Of course I know how they're doing, but it's like, what else do you say? You take a fucking second and you think about something meaningful. You take a fucking second and say, what can I just do for this person that I know that they're going to need, that they don't have to tell me they need, because right now, the only fucking thing that I can give them is bringing this person back, and I can't do that. So if I ask that person, is there anything I can do for you? The one thing that they want more than anything in this earth, on this earth, more than they want to breathe, is that person to come back. What the fuck what the fuck could they say? They can't say anything. So instead of asking them what you can do for them what they won't be able to do for themselves during this time of grief. Just show the fuck up for them instead, right? So back to my confession. In this last 4 or 5 months, I just fucking shut down, went into power saving mode, and just, how are you doing? Good. How's your day? Going well. How are you feeling? Great. While all just fucking breaking down and struggling. But here's the deal. I never felt like I was lying in those moments. What I actually was doing in those moments was avoiding how I truly felt, ignoring how I truly felt, and believing because I wasn't crying and I wasn't having any meltdowns or any breakdowns, because I really should have been with what I was going through. I actually attached that to how much growth I had had. How fucking stupid is that? I know better than that. I know smarter than that. There's no fucking way you can go through what I've been through and it's just growth for no tears. Tears or no tears has nothing to do with growth. I know that. But I have always been unfair to myself when it comes to crying, sadness, and showing that kind of raw emotion. And I have always given myself grace and understood myself when I show anger or passion or whatever other side of emotion. But when it comes to sadness, hurt, and pain, where it brings tears, I have always been unfair to myself. So therefore, I denied how I was truly feeling and associated it for being so strong and have had so much growth that it wasn't affecting me and impacting me like it used to. What in the flying fuck is that bullshit? So you can't be hurt and cry like you used to be hurt and cry because you've grown? That is not growth. That's a fucking regression. That is going backwards. But in those moments, I didn't see that. I didn't see it to be true. And then all of a sudden, I just started crying a lot over everything and just feeling, and it sucked. And then shit was continuing to happen. And it was just complete and utter soul devastation and just sadness and just crying and crying and crying. I haven't been able to keep up with all of my video series that I've been doing and, posting on my TikToks and writing any sort of content. I was literally in surviving mode, just doing my best to get through survival mode, just doing my best to get through those moments because it was all I fucking had to give, right? And it wasn't until I started breaking down with sadness and breaking down with, allowing my detriment of my soul and exactly how I felt to be okay, that I really started to see what was going on. I really started to see that I was denying myself of how I truly felt. And the reason why is because I didn't want anybody to know. I didn't even want to know myself. I didn't want to realize my own self that I was in a depressive state, that I was struggling more than I was, or that I thought I was, or that I realized I was, I didn't want to acknowledge myself in that way at fucking all. And so with coming the denying of how I was feeling and denying the acknowledgement of how I was feeling, I didn't really talk to anyone. I didn't talk to my mom. I didn't talk to my close friends. I didn't tell them anything. I didn't tell them anything of how I was feeling and what I was going through. And if I did, I was opening up weeks after whatever had happened. Weeks after I was struggling. Sometimes years. Like, just so you know, what you've seen, so-and-so friend, is not what's really true on what happens in my day in and day out life. The truth is that this is how I live. This is what I go through. This is what I'm feeling. This is how my soul is sad. I have one friend that verbalizes things like this, and it makes me feel so seen, heard, and understood. And she says, wow, I had no idea that you were going through all that and dealing with that all alone. That had to be so hard for you to go through that and deal with that all alone, and not have anybody there for you. And so instead of her beating me up and saying, why didn't you reach out? Or beating me up and saying, I'm here for you. I don't know why you didn't, say anything. She always validates me in such a way that I'm like, yeah, it did fucking suck to go through it alone. And yeah, it was so hard. But she always ends that message with, just know we love you and we're always here for you no matter what. Hey, are you loving this? To get even more soul fire, soul healing products, and to download the free gifts that I have for you, go to soulfirepodcast.com. Again, that's soulfirepodcast.com. And it reminds me that I didn't lean in. I didn't share. I didn't reach out. I didn't ask for the support. And it always snaps me back to reality and reminds me that I have beautiful people around me. And I have worked so fucking hard to put people around me who, when I'm breaking, they don't walk away. Or when I'm breaking, they're like, oh, I don't know what to say and I don't know what to do. Or when I'm breaking, they say, oh yeah, I'm dealing with that and I'm dealing with this and I'm dealing with that, and take it from me. I've worked so fucking hard to put these people around me. And the last 4 or 5 months, I could have leaned on them and really had them. And even longer than that for some people. And I just didn't do it. I didn't show up for me, for them to show up for me. And so I'm being raw and I'm being real because this is a lesson that I've learned. And this is something that I'm now out the other side of, that even the strongest people, the most powerful person or the most successful person or the most brilliant person as me, that maybe you see me as, I'm still fucking human. I'm still going through my journey of the soul. I'm still growing and learning how to show up for myself in beautiful ways so that I can be surrounded with the love and the value and the honor and the respect and the safe space and the holding space and all of that I need, that I give to everyone else day in and day out. So I wanted to share with you that because maybe, just maybe, you feel alone because you pushed everybody out. Maybe you feel alone because you're not actually telling anybody the truth. Maybe you're feeling alone because you're avoiding the sad and the pain and the hurt because you think it's going to just go away, or you're going to get through it on your own because you know how to do this and you have the tools and you know the work that you need to do and the steps that you need to take. So why burden someone with that? Why tell someone yet again pretty much the same bullshit, the same cycle you've been going through, and that now the lesson is back and now you're going through it again, and now it's just going to be like an I told you so or a judgment? Like, why do that, right? I get it. But if you have the right people around you, they're not going to say that. They're not going to say I told you so. They're not going to say, oh my fucking God, this again. If you are doing the work, and you're constantly and consistently working on being self-aware and deepening your emotional intelligence, then you're going to be able to show up in a way when you're open with them that allows them to not feel like just because it's the same shit you're going through, that it's annoying to them. If you're a whining, crying victim who's looking for pity and sympathy, then you can for damn sure expect that those people are going to respond that way. But if you are coming from a place of like, dude, I'm fucking struggling. And yeah, so-and-so, I know I've been here before and I know that this shouldn't be a thing, but fuck, it's the lessons I'm not learning. So I'm here again and it's just fucking killing my soul again. So I am struggling and I am crying and I am breaking down and I am melting down. And I just want you to know that I am fucking struggling. Do you really think that person's going to be like, this again? Really, Alicia? Fuck no, they're not. So it comes from where you come from. It comes from how you show up to how they're going to respond. And I didn't No, I didn't. I mean, I knew this, but I didn't utilize it and I didn't think about it. So I just kept to myself because who the fuck wants to hear my sob story again? But I never tell things like a sob story. That's not actually how I operate. Even when I'm in the thick of the shit, I am factual. There is a lot of emotion to it. I am factual with a lot of emotion, but I'm always also writing. So this is what I'm doing. Here are the steps that I'm taking. This is what I need to do. This is what my soul needs. And you know, I'm hopeful that it's healed. I'm hopeful that it's worked through. I'm hopeful that it's a positive outcome. It's just right now it looks so dark, but I know that there's always light on the other side. So once I articulate those facts and all those emotions, there is always a level of self-awareness and emotional intelligence that's included in that. And that is what makes the people in my life want to show up for me. And that's exactly why I have the people in my life that I do, because they are the perfect people to be there on my journey of where I'm at on my emotional frequency. Exactly what the fuck I said in one of my last podcast episodes about those people who attempt to bring you down because they need you at their level because of how shitty they feel inside, right? So hear me when I say that when you do the work to create the tribe around you, there's a podcast episode that says your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Actually, it's your tribe attracts your vibe, right? So if you have a shitty tribe around you, you're going to feel like shit. If you have a great tribe around you, you're going to feel a hell of a lot better. And mostly when you're doing the work and you're on your own soul journey. This has been a very hard time in my life. It has been things that have been the hardest for me to ever go through. Some people know the deepest details of it, the minute, the very fine details of it. Some people in my life know a higher level version of the details and still know what I'm going through. Some people know the highest level of I'm struggling, I'm having a hard time. It's been a hard 4 or 5 months, but I'm making it. So how I'm saying it on this podcast is how some people know it, right? And then some people know it deeper, and some people know the exact level of pain and exact level of what I'm going through. The people who know the deepest of it all are the people that I know will hold me up, hold that space and not judge no matter how things unfold, right? So there are levels of being open and honest. So now when someone is asking me how I'm doing, I decide what level I'm going to share with them based on the person that it is. I also decide what level I'm going to share with them based on where I'm at in my healing cycle of what I'm going through. If I'm at a place in that healing cycle that I am struggling to not just cry and cry and cry and cry and cry, then I'm not going to tell anybody any details. I'm going to tell them the truth, but I'm not going to tell them details. And I'm going to tell them that I can't talk about it right now. I'm not ready. I still need to process through this. But when I come out the other side of where I'm at right this second, I will open up and share with them more. So I'm also very cautious of how much I share at what stage so that people cannot influence what I need to learn and how I need to grow at that point of where I'm at. That's just my journey and all the work that I've done. I'm not expecting you to listen to this and go, okay, I'm going to do that too. I just want to give you that though, because if you're still in the moments of needing to process through it to come out the other side of it, you absolutely cannot be telling everyone and getting all of these opinions from all of these different areas and, you know, all of these different emotions that the people bring to the table, because it's just going to confuse you and take you off your path and the lesson you need to learn. And that was what the mistake I made in the past, is that I always articulated and shared right from the beginning. And so what would happen is I would think that I was learning the lesson, but instead I was hearing what other people were saying, and I was moving forward in an action and in a growth that actually wasn't what I needed to be doing for the lesson I needed to learn. Hopefully that makes sense. Not a fault of anyone else. It was a fault of mine for not being self-aware and not being emotionally intelligent enough to know what steps that I needed to take in order to move through that. So through this confession, I want to give you power. Through this confession, I want to give you permission. Through this confession, I want you to know that you're not alone, right? We're all in this together. That's what this fucking podcast is all about, right? The Soulfire podcast is the journey together through this thing we call life. Not about the perfectionism of how I show up, because I've got it all figured out and you need to catch up with me. Not about pretending that life still doesn't happen because I'm a fucking soul healer, life coach, speaker, fucking bomb ass business builder, right? Like, it never is about pretending to always be on, always be good, always have it. Because one thing I know about me is even in my darkest of times, I am a complete and utter inspiration to the majority of the world of people who know that I exist. Even when I'm struggling and I say things and I'm so fucking open and vulnerable on a podcast Power Up, or one of my other sessions, and I just think, fucking A, I really shouldn't say that. That's way too deep into my life. That's too intimate. It's too much information. I know that if I wasn't supposed to say it, meant to say it, I wouldn't have said it. And that it's meant for me to show up in those ways for you to be able to connect for yourself so you can do the work that you need to do and show up even more authentic in your life and be unapologetically who you are. And be okay with that. Be proud of that and to own that. So I again want to say thank you to you for always giving me the space on the Soulfire podcast to be 100% unapologetically who I am and how I show up in all of my brilliance and beautiful and amazingness, and in all of my shit storms and bullshit and weaknesses. This podcast is the work of my inner soul and my journey and what I go through, as much as it is me showing up in what I was born for and what I'm here on this earth for, and changing your life. Remember this sacred truth. Say yes to yourself, for within you lies infinite worth. Let your heart be your compass, guiding you on a path of self-discovery and liberation. Grant yourself the grace to stumble and rise, for it is in our imperfections that we find our strength. Embrace the dance of progress, where each step forward fuels the fire within you. And with massive power and deep soul conviction, let this be your anthem, your unwavering declaration. I choose me. I'm Power Coach Alicia, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Soulfire podcast. You being here means the world to me, and I'm grateful for the time that you've dedicated to be here. And by consistently showing up, I firmly believe that you will transform your life. I'm so grateful that you've subscribed and you continue to share with others, spreading my message far and wide, because together we can reach my mission of transforming the lives of 1 million souls on their healing journey. Now, to provide you even more support on your soul healing journey and address any questions you may have, I would like to invite you to join our soul healing community. Simply visit community.thesoulhealingzone.com. Again, that's community.thesoulhealingzone.com, where you can connect with like-minded women, share your top takeaways, discuss what resonated with your soul, and express your absolute favorite moments from this episode. I can't wait to read them. I'm so freaking excited to create more empowering episodes and continue supporting you. I am sending you so much love, light, and peace as we journey through this thing called life.